Good afternoon, beloved. Welcome back. Goodness, I have to admit, I just did probably one of the worst self-owns I've ever done. I just posted a video of, oh no, nothing but the best production here, of my dirt bar workout, which I've been very excited about. You know, there's nothing more insufferable than a new or than a recent convert to something. And I was wondering to myself, I wonder how heavy this is. Of course, I'm getting so strong with this big dirt bar. And I looked at it, and there was the number 60 stamped on it. And of course, public education rears its ugly head again. It's not 60 pounds, it's 60 inches. I went through the comments, and somebody's like, hey, dummy, that's a 60-inch bar, not a 60-pound bar. I'm like, oh, so that one had to come down. Anyway, you have to own it. We can't take ourselves too seriously around here. Goodness, speaking of not taking ourselves seriously, well, I don't know if it was the middleman or the big fizz have been hard at work, and we do have a new daddy. We have a new daddy, a pro-ho daddy, with his official artwork. It's just been released to me. I'm very excited to share it with you all. Our friend, the Georgia Crazy Cajun, is the official alpha. Would you like to see his stamp, or is going to be his future patch? I'm alleging maybe a sticker. It's up to them. You know, to be honest with you, I've never had control over the Big Fizz group or any of the middlemen. They do their own thing. It's taken on a life of its own. I'm just a passenger here. This is what they did. Check it out. Now I see the Georgia Crazy Velociraptors. That's about the best thing I've ever seen. Who wants one of those? Put sevens in the chat if you want one of those. I know that I do, and I will wear it proudly. I told Mrs. W, actually, or I asked her yesterday. I have a denim shirt. I said, could you sew a little round piece of Velcro on the lapel there for me so that I can wear all of the fun patches that the guys are making? And she said that she would. So that way I don't have to be just stuck with one. I can rotate them throughout the seasons. I have 3 of them now, and I'm looking forward to see what else they come up with. So I thought that was pretty good, gentlemen. Very well done. I'm very pleased with that for sure. Oh, looks like there you go. You better get to work printing those. Those would be for, I don't know. I don't have no control over this, but I can tell you it's all in their hands. It's all in their hands. Over on Wranglerstar 2 yesterday, you guys saw that I was wearing the new shirt. Now, it's not, we don't know for sure. We're in testing. So we're getting products. Before I'm going to offer anything to you guys have been asking for some merch and some cool stuff. I want to get my hands on it, and I want to test it thoroughly. So I very much like the logo. I think it's very cool. The t-shirt fit was very, very good. And Mrs. W is putting it through the ringer right now. She said, I want to wash it hardcore on hot water rough several times to see how it holds up before we make that available to anyone. So we're in testing right now. So if you saw that, I know a lot of people were asking about it. We'll do a limited run on that if we can find something of quality. It's really hard to find things of good quality, to be honest. And I'm not comfortable with just picking some random company and just sending some Chinese garbage out to you. I want anything that you guys are going to get from us is going to be something that I would enjoy and that I would wear myself. And I will both of us will hand select those items. So we are looking forward to that. Oh, goodness. So today's stream is going to be a little bit short, a little bit curtailed. I have a date with Mrs. W. I'm taking her into town. We're going to go out for a Thursday evening dinner and meet up with some friends at our favorite restaurant. And I have been told I have till, well, I don't know. I guess someone will tell me. I think I have an hour. I think till 3:30 or so. 3:30, and I think I'll need to bounce out of here. So we will we'll keep it short. Middlemen, if you guys could throw me up anything, what's going on in the chat, anything you guys want to talk about. I'm trying to think if I had anything. We have a big event coming up this weekend. As I said last weekend, we're helping our friends out with their son's bar mitzvah, and probably not going to do too much work tomorrow. Probably just shut it down, maybe throw up a video or two, and I'm looking forward to that. Really looking forward to, there's a whole bunch of people coming out, and I always enjoy meeting people from different countries, different places. I'm very proud of the valley that we live in here, and it's very fun to share, just like it was with the middlemen. Was it a couple weeks ago? It's very fun. It's very fun to share something that that you're really proud of. What else is going on? Haven't heard from Jack. I guess that's it. That's it. Let me check the chat here. We're starting with the struggle stream. Yeah, Arizona 0324. It's really, the guys did a good job on it. I'm really happy with the logo. We have, we're not just picking just random fonts, just for the t-shirt, not picking random fonts for our logo. We have something that's specific to us, and we're trying to have some fun with it, and we're gonna not, we're just gonna do very limited runs too. I always enjoy doing things that are up for a short time. It's kind of cool to have something that not everyone's gonna have. The funny thing also, Mrs. W, she's also picked a couple pieces of merch. She does not like to wear men's t-shirts. Mrs. W and I are of the belief that men should wear men's clothes and women should wear women's clothing. I told her, I have a rule. I will not leave the house. I'm not going out with my girls in pants. Mrs. W will be in a dress or a skirt, and the same goes for a sweet loaf. It just doesn't seem right. It's not always the case, sometimes. I really can't remember the last time Mrs. W wore pants, but I think women should look like women, should look feminine, and not be challenging men and wearing man's clothing. And pants are men's clothing, in my opinion. Seems to me, anyway. We have a live chat from Colin Croft. Shout out to you, Colin. Colin writes, question regarding your thumbnail. What is there a difference between the red and the blue Loctite? Well, yes, that's a good question. Loctite 243, that really is the go-to for Proho, because if you use the blue Loctite, the 243 is medium strength, meaning that you can actually get it loose when you want to. Now, Proho makes lots of mistakes and is always taking things apart and putting them back together multiple times. That's what we do. So having something that's permanently affixed is never a good idea. Red Loctite is for things that you absolutely positively do not want to come loose, but good luck getting it off. It's very, very difficult to get off, almost impossible, and you will be stripping and rounding bolts and pulling your hair out. So if you have something that you're going to put in, a bolt that you absolutely don't want to come off, that you're not likely to ever take off again, then you go for that red Loctite. Now, you can defeat red Loctite with heat, but heat is not appropriate all places, like if you're on a carburetor or fuel injected. So just know that. But as a rule of thumb, just for a general rule, if you want to use Loctite, if you have bolts that are backing out on things that are high vibration, like motorcycles, quads, that sort of thing, I Loctite everything with blue. It always sticks good, but it's never so tough that you can't get it out without rounding your bolts off. So that's really, really kind of where I fall on that. Oh, I have an update from our friend Evan at Radio Made Easy. Many of you missed out on the original drop, or the 3 Radio Proho kit. Now they've been teasing me about this, that we're going to have another limited drop in August, this month. And I just got the notification just seconds ago. This is hot off the press, beloved. We have a date, maybe 2 weeks-ish, maybe. Don't hold me to that, but at or near, we're going to be ready for the drop. Now, this is going to be very exciting. We're going to have 4 products available. Now, this is a labor of love, gentlemen. This is not a big money maker. Don't think anyone's cutting a fat hog here. This is something that Evan has put together, that we're having some fun with. Guys are making a little bit of money, but as the good book says, muzzle not the oxen as he treads the grain. A worker is worthy of his wage. And as many of you found out when you got your Proho radio kits, that you couldn't put it together for what you bought it for, because we just offer great deals here. So, and all of the service and everything. So I know a lot of you are excited about that. So how I understand it, and this could change, so don't hold me to anything, is that we're going to have 4 products. We're going to have a single radio kit with a Bofang and a high quality one. Now, I saw some of the prototypes when the middlemen came out here. We worked with them. I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag. I'll just wait till we do the official drop. But I can tell you it's very, very cool. Very, very cool. So we're going to have the original Bofang as well as a higher quality option in the singles. And we're going to do triples. So a triple in the Bofang and a triple in the high quality. Now, I haven't seen the kit yet. I don't know any more than this. They keep me in the dark. That way I don't muddle things up, and they only let me know what I need to know, which is the way that I like it. So as soon as I know something, you guys will know it. But I'm assuming what we've done in the past and what we kind of like to do is that there will also be a unique badge, a patch. The patch that you've seen me wear a couple of them. Those are only available through Evan, Radio Made Easy, with the Proho radio kits. So be ready, get queued up. When those drop, they're going to be limited, and you're going to want to get in on them so you don't miss out this time. You know, because as folks were asking, so are you going to continue to offer radio kits throughout the, why are you doing 4? Or I think maybe I asked this, why are we doing 4? That seems like a lot. Overton spoke to me very frankly and said, we know how you are. We know it's fire season, and when fire season is over, you're not going to have any interest in radios whatsoever, so we're striking while the iron is hot. So they know me better than I know myself. So shout out to Overton and to the middlemen for that, for taking care of that and doing all of that heavy lifting on the back end so that we can have fun and the creative person can be creative and have no obligation whatsoever, which is the way that I like it. It's perfect over here. So that's good news. I'm glad to hear that, and I will let you know as soon as I know. We'll find out together. I don't even know what the patch is going to be. We have a super chat from Mr. Rick Gates. Rick has been a member with us for 3 years. That means Mr. Gates. Anyone that's been a member over 3 years, I will address as, with respect, I will put respect upon your name, Mr. Gates. Mr. Gates. Shout out to you. Thank you. Very generous super chat. Thank you, brother. No comment, just support. I sure do appreciate that. The Rugged West. Member for 4 years. Mr. West, I will put respect on your name as well. Shout out to you. Goodness. How was the creek water today? Well, as you can see, my Lego hair is dripping wet. Speaking of Lego hair, you guys have been hurting my feelings. I know I have Lego hair. That's just because I have never worried about it too much, and I just go in for utility when I get a haircut. I'm going to a different barber today. There's a new barber that's opened up not too far from right down the road from the restaurant that I'm taking Mrs. W out tonight that is styling themselves as a traditional classic high quality barber, a place for men. They do beards, they do shaving, they do things the old way. I looked in the window, I checked him out a little bit. Looks legit to me. I'm pretty stoked. Having a proper barber is really a special thing and something that's really been a great loss. When my granddad I used to go to the same barber as my granddad for years and years. And the barber was actually American Indian, Native American. And my family comes from there, from Native American as well. And I remember my granddad would always say, it was so un-PC, he'd always say, well, it's time for me, when his hair would get too long, it's time for me to go down and get scalped by the Indian. So I don't think that would fly today. But, those were different times, and they were actually quite good friends. And I used to go down there as well. And I just miss that, having the same guy and hearing the conversation and all the old men sitting around. So I'm going to give it a try, and I'll let you know how it goes. But I'm definitely in need. But the dip, Mr. West, the dip went very well. The War Band came over this morning at 7:30. We entered into week 4 of our Wim Hof workout. It's really starting to escalate. I put the hurt on those boys today. I'll tell you, they're going to be a little bit sore. It is ratcheting up. So yes, we had about I think 6 or 7 minute dip today. And then I just jumped in for 3.5 minutes right before the stream. And then we have a 10-minute one coming up probably tomorrow or on the Sabbath. But it was cold, man. It was cold. We have this running joke, as we all get into the water now. We all decided, well, Mr. Peters always got in barefoot. But I've always had sandals. I'd never like to get in the water with the sharp rocks and all that. Well, I couldn't find them. My Chaco sandals. And so I went in yesterday without, and it's so much better. You can mash your feet down in the gravel and the sand, and you can stay grounded while you're in the water. Well, this morning, Mr. Brian, he fell in line as well. So now we all go shoeless, and it's even better. So the water's cold, man. So we've had a running discussion, the Warband and I. We just actually yesterday, or was it today? Yesterday or today was our 30 days of getting in the river together. We've never missed a day. Now, Mr. Brian, he missed a couple days. He had to go up to Seattle and hang out with his sister, but he did 5-minute showers. I'll tell you, we are of the opinion that the cold showers are far, far worse than the cold river. It's the sprinkling effect, and just when you get it on the front of you and you start to deal with it, then you got to turn around and hit you. So it's off and on, off and on. It's absolutely terrible. So we were sending selfies to Mr. Brian, tell him, okay, we're doing it, wish you were here type of thing. He sent a selfie back of himself, in the shower with it running over his face. It was absolutely hilarious. He looked like the most miserable man I've ever seen in my life. But the water, I have not taken the temperature, and we've been reluctant to. I asked the Warband, I said, do you want to know? Do you want to know how cold it is, or would you rather just not know? Because the bad thing about it is, so I know the last time I checked, it's about 45, 46 degrees, right? Well, I know that winter is coming. It feels like fall is coming right now. It's starting to get darker in the morning. It's getting chilly. I actually had a hoodie and a flannel on today. You can feel it coming, and I know what's coming. And what's coming is 31-degree water. Can you imagine that, beloved? Can you imagine getting into 31-degree water? If you would have told me that a year ago, I would have laughed in your face, and I would have even touched a toe in 31-degree water. Now the thought of actually getting in there for 6, 7 minutes, 10 minutes, God forbid, is just unimaginable to me. But I'm hoping to have kind of the reverse boiled frog effect, the boiled frog, where if we just keep getting in every day, the incremental decreases in temperature, it'll kind of creep up on you and you won't know that it's happening. I doubt that's going to happen, but I don't know. All I know is I'm getting in tomorrow. That's what I'm going to do. But it was cold. It was cold, Mr. West. It was cold. Papa's in the chat. Big Papa, the Georgia Crazy Cajun, and 2-month member. Have you seen your new artwork? Can I show you? That's you. You're the Proho Alpha. Be careful. With great responsibility. What is it? What's the quote? I forget. It's hard to be king. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. Maybe that's what I was looking for. Mr. Cajun writes this: a generous super chat in honor of the Big Fizz. Thanks for the undesired I thought you were going to say undeserved. The undesired recognition. And remember, Overton Windex, I have a long memory. Well, you know what? Sometimes, you can't outrun your destiny. You just can't do it. If you're destined to be the alpha, the Papa of Proho, then you just have to take on that mantle and just do your best and do nothing to bring reproach upon the rest of us, please. We look forward to your strong leadership. Shout out to the boomers. Thank you, brother. The dinosaurs. So we have an update. Well, we're having some good fun today. We have an update for the Georgia Crazy Cajuns. You see the dinos in there. Dinosaurs never existed, right? And the earth is flat. We all know this. We're having a little fun here. We're not serious. They're not real dinosaurs. The whole dinosaur thing is a bit of a myth, beloved. All that will come true soon enough. I have clarification. The dinosaurs in the patch are because he had a few as pets as a child. Now that's making reference to his age. That is a very low blow and completely beneath the middlemen to insult our alpha like that. I don't like to see that, but there it is. There it is. Amanda, yes. We have a super chat and brand new member. Welcome. We appreciate you're here. Remember, this is a man space, but if you are a true TradCon, you stay silent, you can join the group. Just kidding, of course. Welcome, welcome. Very glad to have you. Yes, Amanda. Mrs. W has insisted upon that. She does not like to wear men's t-shirts. Women's t-shirts are cut very different. Believe it or not, men and women are not the same, regardless of what you've been told in the media. They're very different. Different body types. Women have hips, smaller waists. You know why women have hips? So they can rest their babies on them. God knew what he was doing when he made it. Yes, there will be made cut for women's t-shirts, and Mrs. W is testing that stuff now. And an apron. Actually, the apron we have is very, very good. The print is absolutely fabulous. We're very excited about that. Mrs. W was wearing it around, but it lacked two things. One, it was missing a pocket. She put it on and she said, "Where's the pocket? I cannot have an apron without a pocket." She's always putting her things in there. So a proper woman's apron, a TradCon woman's apron, needs to have a pocket. And, well, and the print was upside down, but that was a minor thing. So that's why we're getting, that's why we get prototypes, so that we can flush these things out. So when it gets to you, it's going to be super cool and you're going to like it. So yes, Amanda, there will be women specific t-shirts. There'll be a t-shirt and a traditional apron. The Gypsy Jeeper, $20 super chat. Thank you, beloved. Really appreciate that. Very generous of you. Been a member with us for 6 months now. A verse that I found applicable lately is this: the Lord is good. The Lord is good, a stronghold in the day of trouble, and he knows those who trust him. Yeah, that's a very good. I like that. The Lord is good and a stronghold in the days of trouble. And that is the case. You know, there's a lot of references. We made references yesterday to when you know, be a light in the world. We live in a very dark world, beloved. It's very dark. And there are very few lights, shining lights. And what is a light? What is a light for? When you're in the dark, a light is to guide your way so you don't stumble and fall and get hurt. A light is to show you the way. And I think that that's a very appropriate analogy. Christ told us we need to be salt and light of the earth. We need to be a shining example of goodness, of his character and grace in a fallen and dark world. A lighthouse was the same thing. You know, the lighthouse and the foghorn, we've seen them. You know, they're all over the Pacific Northwest, the Pacific coast. And what that was for is that there was dangers. There's rocks and shoals for sailors and ships. And the lighthouse would be located near a safe passage or an inlet or a harbor. And that was something that, can you imagine when you're trying to come in and you're completely in the dark? In the old days, you know, before radar and all of this high technology, GPS and such, you really depended upon these. The light was everything. And if that light wasn't there, then that was probably certain death. If you were trying to come in to avoid a storm, you would be lost on the rocks. So that's a perfect example, is God is a light to all of us in a dark world, but we are to be lights as well. That's why we have the scripture that tells us, you know, don't hide your lantern, don't hide your light under a bushel, but put it out in the open so everyone can see it, so people can benefit it, so they can know how to get out of the darkness, so they can find the way. Beautiful. Thank you, Gypsy Jeeper, for that. We have a member message from Hendrickson Homestead, a member for 4 months. Shout out to you. Can ProHos that already own radios get the ProHo frequencies and PL tones? No point in buying more radios and antenna when I already own them. You know what? I'm gonna leave that up to Evan. And I would, if he were to say no, I would support him. You know, this is his business. He put a lot of work into this. He programs all these radios for everyone. Every one of the guys that ordered the ProHo 3 radio kits, he custom programmed the frequencies for their area. You know, do you think that a man should be paid for his work? I think so. You know, to give something out freely, you know, if he wants to do that, then he can do that. But I'm not going to say that he should. I don't know that he should. I think that, you know, the worker is worth his wage. So if he wants to put that out there and make it available and you know, maybe something, a downloadable thing or something, I'm going to leave that up with him. I'm not going to speak for him. But I get what you're saying, but I'm not going to make the call on that. That's going to be entirely up to him. And whatever he decides, I will support him 100%. So we can ask him, but he'll make the call on that. We have a super chat from 45 FUD. Shout out to you, 45 FUD. What if Sweet Loaf takes an interest in doing what you do? Build her own things, not relying on others. A dress can be dangerous around machinery, unlike pants. Or do you mean just in public? Just in public. Yeah, just in public for sure. You know, Mrs. W, it's been some time, but in the past, in the garden, you know, she would wear jeans. Or if we were going to be doing, you know, if we're going to go ride a motorcycle, that sort of thing. You know, it's going to be you know, a machine. Yeah, of course. Yeah. I'm not unreasonable. We have a super chat from Barluk. Best regards from Poland. Shout out to Poland. I have just heard in the comments that, you know, Poland is a very based country. I've been not of late, but you know, a month ago or so, following a little bit of their local politics, what's going on, and border disputes and such. And man, I tell you, if I had to move to Europe for any reason, I would say Poland would be really high on the list. They are absolutely based, very much focused on family, traditional values, as you know, as much as the state can be, you know, compared to their neighbors. And it's interesting to see what will happen to them. You know, I had a barber some time ago who was Polish, and he was telling me that his family, he grew up in San Diego. His parents live in San Diego, and they're from Poland. He's first generation. And that they had decided California and America had gotten so bad, and the California politics so bad, and the values so much against their beliefs, that his parents in their old age were moving back to Poland, back to the old country, which is very unusual. But I can't blame them. I really can't blame them. We have a live chat from Mr. Brandon Auga. Brandon's been with us for 6 months. Shout out to you, Brandon. Really, can you ever have too many radios? Bless one of your friends. Yeah, that's the way I'd look at it. I would look at it. You know, and, you know, you're supporting, I think that's actually, that's a very good point. It's not a huge expense, and you're supporting Evan and his family. You know, this is not a big thing for me. This is something that I've enjoyed doing. There's a lot of guys working behind the scenes for free, putting these things together, just donating their own time because they want to support the community, and they want to have us to have something in common. You know, it's really cool that we can all have radios with common frequency, and not only that, radio made easy. You know, the quick start guide, the fun patches. You know, I don't know what if we're gonna have another. John's going to do us another custom bag like he did last time. You know, I'll tell you when I know. I don't know anything. But all that comes together to make kind of a special thing. It's more than just a radio. So, yeah, sell your radio, give it to a friend. You know, I think that's a perfect thing. And join in and get the kit. And you get to have the patch and all of the fun that we're going to have with all that stuff. And the digital stuff that they're working on is very cool. Very, very cool. We have some QC, some very high placed QC that are very diligent about making this stay simple, i.e., Mr. Overton. Overton understands my limited abilities when it comes to electronics and this sort of thing, and he's trying to dumb it down to the least common denominator so that I can understand it. And if I can understand it, then you all will do just fine. I promise you. Even as simple as it was, he's determined, oh, we have royalty in the comments. We have royalty in the chat. Shout out to Overton for keeping it simple. Mr. Granger, let's put some respect on his name, 53-month member. I wish I had a sound drop. I had some here. They probably don't work. I don't know. Did you hear a sound drop? I didn't hear anything. I got my audio down. Shout out to Mr. Michael Granger. Goodness, one of the OGs. Mr. Granger writes, really enjoying your blacksmithing again, especially the attitude of learning by doing. keep up the good work. I am very excited for our next project. I have right behind me, right there, I have the gas forge all set up. My manservant, Mr. Jiraiya, helped me get everything down here. We have our stock. I have watched Black Bear Forge video 3 or 4 times. I have it in my mind. It's going to be epic. And then the actual carrying out what I have in my mind is going to be an entirely different thing. But we're going to share it all, warts and hairs and all, as it happens. My dad always said, you strive for perfection and you end up with mediocre. I'm going to strive for mediocre and end up with utility. But shout out to you, Mr. Granger. Goodness. I will get that up for you. I'm hoping to do it tomorrow, but with the Var Mitzvah going on and all this stuff, it may be Monday or Tuesday or Sunday or whatever. I'll do my best. I'll do my best. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. We have a super chat from Of My Ilk. Shout out to you, who writes, slowly red pilling my wife. Any tips? Yes. Well, we were all, the war band we were all slowly red pilling our wives. Yes. We've talked about this a lot in the past. We men can typically make a decision pretty quickly. You know, you hear something, okay, I accept this. This seems like truth to me. I'll move on it. Women many times need a little bit more time. They're a little bit more introspective. Maybe, you know, they're just a little bit slower to accept things. So what I would do is I would, don't drop the hard red pills on her, you know, like the real crazy hardcore stuff. You want to ease into it. Go to sources that she may find credible, that are also discovering it, you know, that are more mainstream, but are also starting to wake up to what's going on. You know, there's a lot of mainstream media that are waking up to the fact that, wait a minute, how come the marriage rates are dropping? How come men are not getting married? And most of them are getting it wrong, thinking, well, they're just intimidated by all these women that are doing so much better and they're just intimidated. You know, they're just incels, etc. They start shaming and name calling. You know, that's just cope. They're not getting it. But there are a few in mainstream media that are starting to wake up and realize, and looking at the numbers, like, this is looking bad. Like, this is what is going on? You know, why are marriage rates dropping so bad? And I would kind of start with the injustice of the family court, of the divorce court. You know, that's a reason. No sensible person would enter into a contract where one party is rewarded by breaking the contract. Meaning, with no-fault divorce, you can invest into a woman, you can bring her into your home, you can put babies in her belly, you can start a family, you can, you know, work your fingers to the bone to provide for them. And just when you start getting some traction and your kids you got 3 or 4 kids in the house, she can wake up all of a sudden and say, oh, I'm not happy anymore, and drag you into court. And now she's got the house, and now she's got the children, most likely, or the majority of them. And she's got half of everything you own. And now you're on the hook for child support and alimony for the rest of your life, and you can't do anything about it. Just on a whim. I mean, they really have you by the balls. That is not right. To enter into a contract like that, it's just not right. And men are starting to wake up and realize this. They've seen their grandfathers wrecked by women. They've seen their fathers wrecked by women. And they're like, no, I don't want this. Or it's happened to them personally. And they're like, never again, never again. So, you know, that's a big red pill right there that I think that people can get behind, especially if your wife has kids. Because if you kind of couch it from the perspective of, would you like this if this happened to your sons? Well, they obviously not. You know, if they actually stop to think about it for a moment, they realize that this is a big problem. And I take the stance, and I'm going to continue to advise you guys, until these laws are changed, then don't participate in it. Don't participate in it. Don't date, or don't marry Western women. Don't cohabitate with them, and don't date single mothers. Those are our 3 things. You know, it's like, I don't know why, you know, like, it's like, you've heard the term the noble savage. You know, if you read through American history, the colonizer was the great devil, right? But the noble savage, you know, he lived peacefully with the land and didn't tear stuff up. You know, it's such foolishness. It's such a childlike understanding of history. If you know anything about American history and American Indians, Native Americans, you know, they were savage towards one another as much as any European was, maybe more so in many cases. And there's this notion that every single mother is virtuous and that bad man just walked out and left her in the lurch. You know, here's the deal though. Who controls access to sex? Men or women? Women do. Women control access to it. Who are they picking? You know, they won't take any responsibility for who they choose. They spread their legs for these guys. They spread their legs for Chad, hoping that if, you know, they have full, and they have access to every possible contraception possible, state-funded, people that give it out. Goodness, if any woman wants it, she can have it. And yet she takes no responsibility, gets knocked up by Chad, and then that bad man, and now all the rest of us who have never acted that way, now we are all the bad guys lumped in with all of those, with the players. I mean, it's come on now. We're tired of it. And you wonder why men are walking away from you? Good grief. And then when you don't appreciate that we keep the whole world running for you, we keep the lights and the heat on, keep the roads open, all the manufacturing, everything that you wear and use and enjoy, is created and invented by men. The whole infrastructure is ran and it keeps going by men. If women were to disappear for 24, 48 hours, nothing would change. Yeah, we would be a little bit sad, but we would go along and there wouldn't be any difference. World would run perfectly. But you let man be taken out of the equation for 48 hours, the whole world would burn down. We're happy to do it, but we're not going to do it if you don't respect us. If you don't throw some respect upon us. We're tired of being casted as the demon, when all we ever wanted to do was to make the world nice for our family and take care of our women. All we ask is some respect in return. Is it too much to ask? Goodness. Someone asked me in the chat, I did a couple of, or this morning I did a couple of videos of, you know, TradCon breakfast with Mrs. W, and it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. You hear from 25-year-old guys, 30-year-old guys, you know, where do I find something like this? I want a family. I'm not a player. I want a family. I want to have children. I want to have a legacy. Where do I find a woman like that? And sadly, I don't know that there hardly are any. The ones that are going to be quickly scooped up. They just don't make them like Mrs. W anymore. Many of you older people, you know, the older guys here, people, older pro-ho, have TradCons, and you will probably agree with me. They just don't make them like that anymore. We have a live chat from Philly 2X. I've seen you talk about modern firearms such as Glock 19. Have you ever learned the art of loading and firing black powder revolvers? No, I have not. I would love to try it. I don't think I've ever fired black powder, to be honest with you. I've never had the opportunity to do it, but I'd love to try it. Maybe the battle chemist could work up some magic on his next visit. We have a great super chat from Great Lakes Man, a 6-month member as well. Super chat, family safety tip. Here we go. Men, keep your wife's car topped off so she won't need to stop at a gas station alone. This also helps cycle our stored gas. Yeah, that is a very, very good tips by Great Lakes Man. I have, try as I may, I've always understood this, and I have tried to get this into Mrs. W's head. You know what they say about, you know, it's women and machinery. They just don't mix. She comes, I get in her car, it's empty. I'm like, baby, you got to keep it. Oh, you know, I understand. Okay, so it's the definition of insanity is hoping to say, you know what it is. I think we've had to kind of take it upon ourselves. Well, I think that's a good idea. Yeah, especially now. We've talked about this in the past, that those gas stations, especially if your wife is driving at night, or your woman, and if you live in the city, you do not want her to have to stop at these gas stations. These are the modern day watering holes of the jungle. Where do the predators hang out? Where the animals have to come and water. That's one place they all have to come, and there's also always a meal there for a cheetah or a lion or a cougar or something. Always, because every animal eventually has to come there. Same thing, predators and bad, evil men will lay in wait for victims in gas stations. If you want to see, just go on YouTube and you can watch, you know, like police activities. You see just a lot of, I watch a lot of that sort of thing because I like to see what takes place in a stressful situation. How do people handle themselves? And I watch that and then I try to reenact, you know, what would I have done or how could I have avoided that? And how you could avoid that is just not being there at all. I would not stop at gas stations at night. Gas tanks are big enough now. You don't need to fill up every day. If with a little bit of planning, yeah, I think that that's something that a husband, a house band, I like to say, a husband is a house, a band of protection around their house, a house band, husband. Add that to your many and various duties is to make sure that you keep your wife's car topped off. Or you can get a manservant like me and you can have him go top off both your cars for you. That's what I'd recommend. Oh, the sound drop, it worked. Goodness, I can't believe it. God's grace is upon us. Well, I have a couple more there. I'll keep those in check. We'll try it again. We'll see if it works twice. You know, no one knows about that. Mr. Lenny, 213, and 1 month member. Welcome. Thank you for your super chat. Thank you for your generosity. Lenny writes, and tomorrow the day has finally arrived. I'm marrying a beautiful traditional woman, my teenage sweetheart, with the love of my life, 20 years together. God bless you all, your family, and your families and gentlemen. Well, shout out to you. Absolutely. If you found one, traditional woman. If you find your traditional woman, she's worth more than rubies. That's what the good book tells us. A good woman, the Bible tells us, is more precious than rubies. And that is absolutely true. That's something I say to Mrs. W all the time. You are more valuable to me than rubies. You really are. She inspires me. She raises and educates my children. She supports me. She gives me courage. She gives me a reason to go out and to work hard and to break my back. And I'm happy to do it. And she's always appreciative. Not a day goes by she doesn't tell me how much she appreciates the hard work that I do for the family. And it means everything to me. It's all I want. It's all I ever asked for. That's all most of us good men have ever asked for, is not for fame or any sort of recognition other than just knowing that our family appreciates the hard work that we get up, put our work boots on and go out in the hot sun and work day after day after day. And we're happy to do it, but we're not going to do it if we're not appreciated. Shout out to you, Lenny, and congratulations. I hope it goes well. We have a live chat from Norwegian Dude. You know, my grandfather had a good friend that was a Swede. He was a great big Swede as well. And they really enjoyed one another's company. They were both mechanics. They used to work together and help each other out on small jobs and such. And my grandfather liked the Swedes, but I don't know that he ever knew a Norwegian. And he always said, you know what the difference is between a Swede and a Norwegian? And I said, Granddad, I don't know what that is. And he said, a Norwegian is just a Swede that's been dropped on his head. So I don't know if that's true. I would say that a Norwegian is just a Swede that's discovered oil. That's what I would say. So I don't know about that, but I like our Norwegian friends. Our Norwegian friends seem to be a little bit less stuck up and less uptight than some of our Swedish friends, but we like both of them, of course. Our Norwegian dude says, I subscribed today. I like this kind of content. Looking forward to a lot more. Yes, I appreciate that. Yeah, so if you don't know my reference, so the Norwegians are right off Swedish coast, and I think that the Norwegians the Swedish think themselves to be a little bit hoity-toity over the Norwegians. But the thing that, how I understand it, that really rubs the Swedes the wrong way is that Norwegians have a whole bunch of oil, and they're doing really well with that. They have great oil deposits, and that has helped them to prosper greatly. If I know what I'm talking about, that's how I understand it. But I have never been to Norway. I hope to go. We have a super chat, a very generous super chat from Mr. Jeremy McCook. Shout out to you, brother. Thank you. Well, I'm going to give Jeremy a $20 drop. How's that? Nothing but the best production over here. Jeremy writes, I owe you an apology for a comment I made several weeks back. I was wrong and I didn't understand your context. I'm trying to be on the right path. Well, I forgive you. I don't know what it was. I owe you an apology for putting up a video showing my mega strength with my 60-pound, 60-inch dirt bar. So, you know, I thought when it came to the realization of that mistake, I thought of my friend Owen Benjamin. He says, I may be wrong, but I'm not lying. So I may be wrong. Can I steal that? Can I use Owen's term? I think it's one of the best things he's ever said. I may be wrong, but I'm not lying. And that's my case as well. That covers a multitude of sin. But thank you, Jeremy. I accept your apology. When I'm perfect, then I'll climb up on my high horse. But until then, I appreciate that. He who is without sin, let him cast the first stone. We have a live chat from Trey Chumchel. Nice studio. What mic is that? Audio top notch. Well, I'll tell you, nothing but the best production around here. I was so incensed with the bad audio, the audio problems I had. I actually rage quit. Was it 2 days ago? Because I was having such problem with the audio. The problem, I've always used good mics. The mic that I use is the Sennheiser AVX. I have 6 of these, I believe. Look at the wear, man. These are really good. With the good lav mic, the blue one. The problem I was having was not with that. These have been absolutely rock solid, and I have drug them to hell and back. I'll tell you, I've used them for years. The problem has been the interface trying to get good audio into an iPhone. You know, I was being lazy. I didn't want to set up the proper, the laptop and OBS and, that whole deal and all that. And so I was getting away with it. Maybe I didn't realize how bad it was until you guys pointed out how good it is now. So I'm using Mix Pre 3, which is a really good audio mixer. It's studio quality, so the audio should be top notch. If nothing else is, at least we're going to have nice, clean, clear audio. So it's a little bit extra setup, but I'll get my system here kind of pretty dialed in, and it'll go fast. I'll do this I will do a video for Wranglerstar 2 tomorrow. I'll show my audio and my stream setup right here. It's in the works. It's not fully flushed out, but go over there and I'll do a full video on it. And I've been doing some behind the scenes things over there, but I'm glad to hear that. Clean audio is more important to me than anything. Even like right now, I'm shooting from an iPhone 14 camera. It's fine. It's actually pretty good, and the lighting's not going to be ideal. I'm shooting out into bright light, but we'll get it figured out. These things matter to me. I know. I think what it is that once you hear good audio and you see good dynamic range and you see good video, it's hard. You can never unsee it, and to have anything less than that, it's always unsatisfactory. But as for me, I consume content as well, and I cannot abide bad audio. I can have a shaky camera or bad lighting. If the audio is crummy or there's wind noise, I am gonzo, man. I cannot take it. It is nails on the chalkboard. Oh, I have a teaser. Mr. Overton, can I share this? Can I share this with the group? We're getting real-time information for the Proho radio kit. We have a prototype video. Is this just for me, or can I share this with the group? Please let me know. I'll put it down at the bottom of the signal chat here. I'll scroll down there and check it. I don't want to share it if it's just for me. We have to keep some things secret around here. But it looks very good. Very good. 40-inch forearms. Oh, good. I'm excited about this. I want to share it. Let's jump forward a little bit. I'll come back to this. We have a super chat from our friend, the Battle Chemist. It was great to have the Battle Chemist out here. The Battle Chemist writes, he does, of course he's got a black powder. The Battle Chemist has a black powder flintlock Kentucky rifle that I haven't shot yet. I'll bring it with me next time we meet. Well, there you have it. We will have an opportunity. Now, the Battle Chemist gave us the opportunity to shoot the 50 BMG, which was absolutely hard to put into words. Oh, I can share. Okay, I can share. All right. This is a world premiere of a little bit of behind the scenes. Now, this is going to be what do we see? Let's just look at it together. The ProHo single radio kit pouch. Now, this I believe is going to be coming from our friend John over at SOE, Special Operation Equipment. The best nylon in the world. Nothing but the best for the ProHo 3 radio. Are you ready? Let me pull it up here. Oh, it's light. It's glare. There we go. Did I hear denim liner? I can't see it. Let's play it again. Oh, I can't believe it. I'm getting the fizz and I haven't even seen it. The fizz is crawling up my back right now as we speak. I've got to watch it now. I couldn't see it. Oh, goodness, look at that. Gentlemen, break open your piggy bank. You're going to want to get in on this. This is a one-of-a-kind opportunity to get an SOE, the first denim line bag of all time. I'm very honored. Goodness. That I knew you guys were up to something, but I didn't know it was going to be that cool. I have to watch it one more time. Hold on. Oh, that's the coolest. And it's in God's. Did you see it's in God's plaid? Not to be irreverent there. Woodland? Oh, come on now. Come on. Can you imagine? Can you imagine having a tool bag made out of woodland with a denim lining? Goodness. I was on John's live chat. I was lurking a couple days back, and he was talking about his wife. His wife. They were in the car going somewhere, and they were talking about she was haunting the. She was checking out the Ironheart site where the clothing that I wear, perusing their denim and such. And so I knew something was up, but I didn't know it was going to be that good. See, not even over to he couldn't stand it. He had to give me a sneak peek. Oh, speak of the devil. I didn't even see that, Amanda. Put some respect on Amanda's name. Amanda, this is quite a treat here. Oh man, I'm just processing all this. I have streamer. John will. Okay, Amanda is our newest member. That's John's wife. I did not know that, Amanda. I apologize. I would have given you recognition had I known that. I do appreciate that. Man, that is cool. That's a very cool pouch. I'll tell you that I am very honored. Very, very honored. I know how busy you guys are. I know you guys don't do any OEM stuff because John sells everything that he makes. He's got a lot of companies that would come to him and say, I want you to do our stuff because they do the best stuff. But I heard him say on his live chat, like, I don't do OEM. I sell everything I make. Why would I do that? What would be the point? And the fact that he is dedicating some of his time to do something for us here exclusively is I'm very honored by that. I'm very honored by that. And I think that's one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Yes, Amanda, I know TradCon women appreciate true men. We appreciate one another. You know, we lift one another. You guys, I mean, I've never met you, but I've watched a lot of your content. I've watched you guys interact. And it's very similar to Mrs. W and we are a true partnership. You know, we would, if she were to be taken away from me, it would be like someone tearing off my arm and my leg, to be honest, literally. It would be a loss beyond losses. We are so strong together. We lift one another up. When I'm weak, she's strong. When I'm strong, when she's weak, I'm strong. We carry one another. And it's incredible. You know, people talk about falling out of love. We've been together for over 20 years now. And I'll tell you, my love and admiration and respect for that woman is 50-fold, 1,000-fold at what it was. It's different. Love is different when you're first married but after you have someone that you watch give you children and takes care of you and cooks you, who who knows how many meals and helps you and supports you and is always there. It just, there's a respect and a love there that you just can't put a price on. You could never replace it. You couldn't replace it. You couldn't pry her away from me with the hottest supermodel. She's my woman. She's my woman. And it's an amazing thing. And point being, seeing you guys together just it seems very similar, very similar. Tell John thank you for that. I'm very excited to see what he comes up with. And TradCon women do appreciate true men, and true men definitely appreciate TradCon women. Very excited. We have about 5 more minutes, gentlemen. I've got to cut short today. That's very exciting, very exciting. LW of Jax, we have a super chat. I still got the fizz all over me from that denim bag, that denim liner. He that displays too often his wife and his wallet is in danger of having both of them borrowed. Benjamin Franklin. I'd never heard that before, but that's very true. Yeah, I never understood a man that insists that his wife dress up like a whore so he can parade her out in front of men. I've always found that a man like that to be of a very poor character and a very insecure person. I don't know why you would do that. I don't want that at all. I of course enjoy a lovely woman as much as possible, as much as anyone does. But that's for me, that's a personal thing. That's not something, I think a woman when she goes out, I think they're more attractive when they're covered up. It's like women have went so far in their indecency and exposing themselves. I don't even know how much further they can go. It's getting to the point now where they're just going to start going out naked. I guess that they are, because you have to one up the other one. You have to shock value, and it's gotten to the point now where the titillation that I once experienced from seeing a woman scantily clad, I mean, it's just so common and just so pedestrian now that it's having the opposite effect. I don't even look at them. I don't even give them the satisfaction of my attention or my gaze. If I can openly and willingly make them understand that I am turning my back on this, I'm actually disgusted by it, I will do everything in my power to do that. TradCon woman knows how to take care of her man. Thank you for that. That's very true. Good quote. Live chat from Ben. Cody has 40-inch forearms. Well, I'm certainly not lifting a 60-pound dirt bar, am I? Goodness, what an own. Cell phone. Oh, goodness. We have royalty. Excuse me. We have royalty in... Where's it? I lost my train of thought here. There it is. Oh, no. I hit the wrong button. Oh, goodness here. Hold on. Nothing but the best production here. I thought I had this all figured out here. What if I clicked the... Here we go. I'll just do it the hard way. There we go. I'm imagining there was a sound drop there for Mr. Handy Mike. Throw some respect on his name. 57 months member. Goodness. Open L 13 headed your way. Well, you guys know I love the Open Ls. I do love the Open Ls. Very charming knives. With all the tactical stuff that we've had for the last 20 years or so, sometimes the anti-tactical stuff is I'm starting to enjoy that more and more. I heard someone say something that was about, was commenting on one of the bag or SOE videos I did about, yeah, I like what John's doing, but man, I'm so over the tactical stuff. Well, I am too. I get that, but I wouldn't say that he's not just doing tact. Yeah, he's got a clientele. He does chest rigs and different things, but go look at the site. They're having all sorts of fun with it. They sent me a whole bunch of these really cool bags. I've got one that's in like bright green. I've got one, in just, different random colors. I've got they're having fun with the camel patterns, with the red stitching, and they're just doing some really cool stuff. They do like the Halloween bags, and I saw one for the Friday the 13th, and just doing fun stuff. It's not all tactical just because you think that's what they're doing. I think I agree. Overton and the guys were saying, hey, we're going to get you some stuff. What color would you like? And I told them, just have fun with it. I don't have to have multicam. I've got enough multicam. If I don't care whatever John sends or whatever he makes, if it's bright chartreuse green, if it's pink, If it looks like a pumpkin, I couldn't care less. The brighter the better. I'm beyond caring what people think about me and what I do and what I wear. And the more outrageous I can be, the more outrageous I will be. I think it's fun. So I don't care. I have always been, I get raised in the environment that I was raised in the Christian cult. I was very much concerned always about what people thought about me, because your reputation and that was everything. And if your reputation was destroyed, then you suffered. So I was institutionalized. I didn't even realize it until COVID, to be honest with you. Always trying to please people and worried about what does he think about this, or what is she, now God has delivered me from that. I could not care less. I wear what I want to wear. I say what I want to say. I do what I want to do. I just don't care. If I want to wear 3 watches and want to wear a pink bandana around my neck, then that's what I'll do. If I want to wear a funny hat, I'll wear a funny hat. And if I want to wear a bright chartreuse green chest rig, then I'll wear a chartreuse chest rig. Just who cares, man? Who cares? I just give zero Fs. The Main Battle Toaster and 4-month member. Shout out to you, brother. Welcome. There's a documentary on YouTube called Megiddo 1 and 2 and March to Armageddon, the New Age. I can't recommend it enough. It really showcases Satan's deception. I'm going to screen capture that right there, and I will look into that. That sounds interesting. So check that out. Megiddo 1 and 2, a documentary on the end times. Mr. Kyle B., a member for 1 year. Shout out to you. Super chat, rate my Proho. Here, we haven't had a rate my Proho for a while. This is where I'm given limited information, and I rate on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, of what the quality of your professional homeowner setup is. Here we go. 2.5 ton bug out vehicle. I'm going to give you, with 46-inch tires, you get 5 for that right there. You could live in that. Single Oklahoma based. That's another one. 2 chainsaws, got the 3-row radio kit, water filter, food storage, 29-year-old, debt-free, and the G19X 9.5. It's simple right there. I don't even have to think about it. Oklahoma. Should I give Oklahoma West Coast status? My granddad was from Oklahoma. I don't know about that. You're gonna have to give me a good reason. I'm not even going to request a really, really good reason, just kind of a good reason. If someone could give me kind of a good reason why Oklahoma should have West Coast status, I will grant it. But I'm on the fence. I'm not going to put you to the back of the line. Hold your position, but impress me. Shout out to you, Kyle B. 9.5. Excellent. 29 and debt free. And a G19. The G19X took it right over the top for me. I'm hoping to be, I'm very excited to, in the near future, to be the owner of a factory G19X slide milled with a Trijicon RMR on it. I'll tell you, after shooting that, just how easy it was to caulk with that thing on there was amazing. I'm excited. It's in the works right now. I will share it with Proho when I get it. Mr. Gamer Dave. Shout out to you. Welcome. Good to see you back, brother. Hey, Cody, I feel like I'm lusting. I'm lusting just by seeking a wife. Impossible it is for me in my mind to find a good woman. I'm 41, struggling with smoking too, single for 20 years, and have Asperger's tests show. So yeah, you got a lot. We've all got troubles, but you got a lot of strikes going against you. 41. That may seem old when you're 41, but when you're 54 like I am, that seems pretty young, especially when I didn't marry Mrs. W till I was, in my mid-30s, 36 or so. So you definitely have time. Have you ever considered of going overseas? You ever considered getting your passport and traveling? Before you do that, you've also got some responsibility. You got to get yourself in the best condition you can. Do you have your weight under control? Yes or no? Well, if the answer is no, that's where you start. You got to deal with that. Well, there's no excuses. I get it. You just have to do it. You have to gird yourself up like a man, and you have to figure it out. Start walking, do your cold showers, and get control of your diet. Cut your meals down. Cut a meal out. Go to 1 meal a day or 2 meals a day. Yeah, it's going to suck. But it also is suck being fat and overweight and disgusting and hating yourself when you look at yourself in the mirror. In a year, you could be in great condition. I don't know your weight, but you could be in a whole lot better condition than you are now. There's only upside. Once you do that, take care of is your personal hygiene up? Is your grooming good? Do you take care of, do you look the best you can? Do you got problems with your teeth? Get your teeth fixed, whatever it is. Get yourself some decent clothing. Make yourself the best package you can make yourself. Make a plan. Like if you're going to go on a journey, an expedition, planning is involved. Lots of planning. Sometimes you plan for a year to do something like this. If you want a wife, then think, what's my best situation to get a wife? Well, Western women are a nightmare right now. That's going to be the worst case scenario, the highest risk, and I don't want to take that risk. So overseas, you got a year to get your passport. You got a year to get yourself in physical condition. If you're not, take care of your grooming, take care of whatever problems that you have. You might even go and get a third party, get someone else's opinion, someone honest. There's people out there like Wheat Waffles. Wheat Waffles is a YouTuber. He has a service that you can send him pictures and pay him a modest amount, 25, 30 bucks, and he will basically give you a rundown on what problems you have physically and what you should work on, whether it be your hair, your clothing, what have you. If you're serious about it, you got to get serious about it. You can't just sit around and mope and complain about it. Once you have that in order, then put yourself out on the market. Have your passport, go down to South America, go to Southeast Asia, find a foreign wife from a traditional family. That's what a lot of dudes are doing. I watch it happen all the time, and guys are having good success with it. So stop complaining about it and figure out a solution. You got to put the work in. It might take you a year, it might take you 2 years, but 43, let's say 2 years, worst case scenario, you're going to be ready to go. So sitting around and complaining about it's not going to do anything. So when it comes to smoking, I get it. I smoked as well. Get down on your knees and trust God. Surrender your heart to the Lord and ask for some help. The good book tells us, I of myself can do nothing, but can do all things through Christ Jesus who strengthens me. Christ helped me, delivered me from cigarettes. I'm not saying he's going to do that for you, but but it's possible. And if you haven't been able to do it under your own steam and your own power, what do you got to lose? Man, your life could look so much different in a year. You could have a relationship with Christ. You could have got yourself in the best condition you've been in years. You could have motivation. You got a goal. You could have your passport. You're getting ready to travel. Something to work for is really what men need. And that might be what it is that you need to get you out of your depression, out of your funk. I'll tell you, whenever I've suffered from depression, it was because I didn't have a purpose. I didn't have a mission. I didn't have a goal. So get on your grind, gird your loins up like a man, figure out what you need to do, fix your problems, fix your deficiencies, and go get a woman. Make it happen. That's what you got to do, man. That's what Proho does. He doesn't sit around and lament. He makes things happen. We've all fallen down. Pick yourself up, dust yourself off. You're a man. No one's going to care for you. Men don't have any safety nets. No one cares about our feelings and our problems. There's no programs for us. Either you pull yourself out of the mud or you stay in the mud. It's your choice. We have West Coast. We have Lower Than You is a new member. And Gamer, I'll tell you, brother, I'm not saying this to beat on you or to make you feel worse about your situation. And I will happily, if you can contact me, you get a contact through the middlemen, have them vet you. I don't know, all I see is tags here. You've been with us for a long time, but I will be happy to jump on a call with you. I'd be happy to give you a little bit of accountability. We could sit down, we can make some goals. You can tell me what your struggles are. We can get a plan together, and we can have quarterly calls or something to work towards, and I'll hold you accountable. I'd be willing to do that. There are men here that will support you. I will pray for you. But you got to do it, man. You got to make it happen. We can't hold your hand here. Oklahoma's strongest homeschool laws in the country for parents. Oh, man. The tactical handyman is throwing down the gauntlet. That is a good one. Is that true? I'm going to have to verify that through Mrs. W. She's very much involved with legal defense funds for homeschoolers and different things, as well as I am. I'll have to verify that, but that is certainly a feather in your cap. Hold your position. Don't get above your station there. Just wait, and I will look into this. Time. Yep. I'm going to do this last super chat, and that's it, gentlemen. I've got to go. Mr. Austin Rude, our newest member, and $20 super chat. I'm going to do it. Here you go. Here's a drop for you.
Must be nice.
Shout out to Austin Rude. This is our last one, gentlemen. Thank you for your prayers yesterday. I'm happy to report that Mom is doing much better today, which just goes to show the Lord is truly present here with us. Thank you. We pray for continued improvements. Well, hallelujah. I'm glad to hear that. Thank you for bringing the positive report. Prayer works, beloved. It absolutely works. We have not because we ask not. Really. How much time have you spent in prayer over the last week? How much time have you spent in giving thanks for all of the things that God has done for you? If you were treated a friend that way, you wouldn't be a friend for very long. And yet your Heavenly Father who loves you, who gave His only begotten for you, has been there for you the whole time. You know, He likes to have a thank you from time to time as well. He likes to know that you appreciate what He does for you as well. Just like what I was saying earlier about, I'll close with this. I got a couple minutes. Mrs. W always puts in a buffer for me. She knows how I am. I was talking about how men are getting fed up with so many of these entitled Western women, and the only thing that we really want is gratitude. It's just a little bit of gratitude, just a little bit of appreciation for the effort and the hard work that we put in for our families. You know, we're made in the image of God. Our feelings and a lot of our characteristics come from the Almighty, and that would tell me that He shares these as well. And we read the story. If we read the story of Christ and His interaction with people, you know, you have to look at Christ as God. It's hard to do sometimes because he's easy to mistake Him for a normal man, but He's not. But when you see a little bit of humor interjected, like His conversation with the woman at the well, and His compassion and His kindness and His anger and frustration with the money lenders when He turned over the tables in the temple. God has feelings. He has passions. He has concerns like we do. We're made in Him. I mean, we have like Him. I don't want to say He's like us. We're made in His image. If you didn't contact a friend or didn't show love or gratitude or appreciation for gifts, would He be your friend? He wouldn't. We ask too much of God sometimes. We're not fair to Him. All we get so focused on our own personal problems and woe is me, and we never think about what we do and what we say and how we behave, how it affects our Heavenly Father who loves us. He gave so much for us, and we spit in His face and we kick dirt and we just disrespect Him all the time. All of us, myself. I preach to myself as well here. This is not, I'm not up on a high horse. This is just a reminder to us. Be grateful for what we have. It may not be perfect. We may want a wife, may want to have a family. We're having difficulties dealing with depression, dealing with financial problems. Do you have a roof over your head? Do you have what you need? Go to God. Take your problems there. And what He will do for you is to give you peace in whatever situation you find in. And there's no greater gift than that. There's no greater gift, beloved. When Paul could rejoice being locked in irons in a Jerusalem jail and still rejoice and give thanks for God and consider himself to be fortunate that he was counted worthy to suffer for Christ's sake, that's what you can achieve. That's what we can have. But you gotta maintain that friendship, beloved. You gotta spend time with a friend to be friends. So spend time with God. Take your troubles and your burdens and your worries to Him, and He will give you peace. He will give you rest. And I would highly recommend any of you that are struggling with faith, struggling with depression right now, get a copy of John Bunyan's Pilgrim's Progress and read it. Read a chapter a night. Know that I am reading it right now along with you. And I think it'd be a great blessing to you. Next to the Bible, it's probably one of the most important books ever written, in my opinion. I'm out of time. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for all of the super chats and for your time. Please pray for my family. I will be praying for you. May God bless you and your families as well. And no live stream tomorrow, but Lord willing, I will see you on Monday morning.